Hi, I'm Jim Tumlinson from All American Water, and I'm here today to talk about control boxes. Now, as you see here, we've got a large control box, and this is a 3 horsepower control box, and you'll know because if you look down here, it says 3 horsepower. Now, this is a Franklin Electric model control box. They're very popular. A lot of water well guys use them, and on the bottom of these, there are a couple of buttons. Now, from the 1.5 horsepower control box to the 3 horsepower control box, you're going to find 2 of the red buttons on the bottom. Sometimes on the 1.5 you're going to find 1 red button. And these are resets. So let's say your pump stops working, you run out of water. If you come outside, you find your control box, you push the right button, and your pump doesn't come on, then you push your left button, and you've got to push them real hard, and you'll hear a click, and then if you wait a second, your water comes back on. It just means that you tripped your relay. Okay? Now, if you decide to poke around inside one of these, you want to make sure you turn your power off, because inside here, the electricity goes through the little hole in the bottom, and it comes up here, and it's always hot when your pressure switch is closed. So you want to turn your electricity off before you come and take your lid off. And just a little orientation, this is your a contactor, this is your start capacitor over here, and a run capacitor, and then down here you've got a little starter. And all your control, this is a deluxe control box. There are your 2 horsepower also comes in a deluxe control box with a contactor, but your 1.5 horsepower control box does not have a contactor inside of it. And they've all got L1. As you can see here, there's an L1, an L2, a yellow, a black, and a red. And that's because it's got a SW. That's because it's a deluxe control box. Your standard control box does not have an SW in there. So once again, if you run out of water and you've got one of these types of control boxes, even a 5 horses got the resets on the bottom. Push the one on the right, and then push the one on the left. You've got to push them hard, and if you hear a click, it just reset, and your pump will come back on. If not, then you can call us at All American Water at 940-389-6850, and we'll come out and try and help you. Really, we won't try and help you. We'll come out and help you. Now this is a CentraPro control box, and right here it says what horsepower it is. This is a 1 horsepower, and this over here is a Franklin Electric control box, and you can find down here how big it is because it says 3/4 right here. Now the difference in the two is just the manufacturer of the control boxes. We use these control boxes because there's a 5-year warranty on them. The Franklin Electric, I don't know that they provide that kind of warranty, but we want the consumer to have a good warranty. That's why we use these control boxes. Now these are just a little different. Once again, you want to turn if you want to get inside here, you're going to want to turn your electricity off to your pump. You unscrew this with a 1/4-inch nut driver or a screwdriver, and then you just pull this lid right off there like that. And inside here, you're going to find a start capacitor and your starter and some little prongs. And those little prongs go inside these little slots in there, and each one of these screws is wired to L1 and L2 is your electricity, and R is for red, Y is for yellow, and B is for black for your wires for your pump. Now, the Franklin Electric control box is exactly the same. It's got a start capacitor, and it's got a starter, the prongs, and as you can see, it has an L1, an L2, a red, yellow, and a black. Now, sometimes when your well goes out and you don't have any water, most people check their breaker. They might look at their pressure switch, but after that they get kind of lost. They don't know where to go. What you can do is you turn your electricity off, and then you go and you take your lid off your control box, and then you look inside and you look at your capacitor. Now if you look at this capacitor, you'll see that there's a hole blown out in that other little hole right there. That means this capacitor has blown up. And typically the reason it's done that is because the pump is short cycling, which means you've got a bad pressure tank, or if you've got a galvanized tank and it's waterlogged, you hear the click, 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 and what it does is that clicking noise overheats the capacitor, and then the capacitor blows up like that there. There are a couple other capacitors that look the same. The one on the right, you can see that white residue around it where it's dried, and it's got a hole down inside there where it's blown up. And then this other capacitor here, you don't see the residue, but you can see how that little hole has been pushed out, and there's a little bit of residue around it. Both of these capacitors are bad capacitors. You can replace capacitors inside your control box. You don't have to get a whole brand new control box. The only reason why I recommend a brand new control box is because you get a 5-year warranty on it. But we still do replace capacitors because we understand that, you know, if you've got $20 and you can replace a capacitor, that's better than $75 or whatever a control box costs you. So to save you some money in the long run. Now, if you take this capacitor off and you want to get another capacitor, there's one thing you must do every single time. And I don't know if this one's charged, so let's see. Okay, this one's not charged, but you want to ground these together like that, because capacitors still carry a charge in them. Even though they're not on, there's no electricity going to it, they'll carry a charge. You stick your finger there, I promise you, you'll do it one time and one time only, because it's going to get you. And you can pull your wires off and get a capacitor to replace the current one you have. Now, you cannot get just any old capacitor. There are different microfarads for each capacitor for each size pump that you've got. So you can call us and we'll give you the microfarad size. You can call a water well company, they may be able to do that for you. You can call an electrician and sometimes they'll do that for you. We recommend Austin Pump in Fort Worth. If you're going to call somebody, they're a vendor, call them and ask them what size capacity you need, then you can call us and we'll give it to you, or you can just call us and we'll sell it to you or come put it in for you, however you want to do it, whatever's easiest for you, but you can replace your own capacitor. So once again, your capacitor should not have a hole in it. It should be clean, and if you take your lid off, your capacitor looks okay, then perhaps you'll need to call somebody to see if your pump just hasn't burned out or there's another problem. If you've got any questions, please call us at 940-389-6850, and we'll be certainly happy to answer your questions, and if we need to come and do a service call, we'll certainly do that. Thank you and have a great day.